live on Facebook, and we should be now live on YouTube.
I'm checking, sir.
Alright, showing live on YouTube. Alright, cool. Wait. Wasn't that yesterday?
No. That's right now.
Okay.
Okay, let me look at it again, just make sure.
Yeah, make sure. Please and thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's working.
Yeah, okay. Alright, we're good. Alright. Sorry for the delay. Here we go. We are ready for Sports Talk with Cooper and Big Man. Let me get this back open so we can get the opening going. Alright, here we go. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it is time once again for Sports Talk with Cooper and Big Man. This is Big Man joining me, as always, my brother Cooper. Cooper, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. You ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
It's Sports Talk with Cooper and Big Man.
It is. It's crazy time because we got a lot again to cover in a very short amount of time. So let's dive into it.
Let's get it.
We're going to start off with some baseball talk. So the MLB season has been an intriguing roller coaster after a rocky start when it came to the CBA negotiations, which we talked about already. The team that has really been riding that roller coaster, though, are the New York Yankees. The Yanks were at one point considered the best team in the league and a consensus World Series favorite. But as the All-Star game approached and the Yankees came back down to earth a bit. Then after the trade deadline, they would face plant really big time at one point, going 1-11 after trading away Joey Gallo to the Dodgers. Gallo was ridiculed by the New York media by the poor season he was having. The team turned it back around, though, and are still, at the time, AL East leading by 9 games. Cooper, the Yankees, man, they started off hot, fell down, kind of back up, but the rest of the AL East was coming for them.
Yeah, and I hope they get them, too.
I know, we don't really care for the Yankees, so it's kind of fun to see them be like, oh yeah, and then
fall on your face, dang it.
Even having some people wondering if it was the curse of Joey Gallo. After trading him.
Joey Gallo, I love it.
I know, that was great, right? They're like, oh my God, we traded away Joey Gallo, we can't win. It was great fun. And then it didn't matter anymore. But hey, no longer the team to beat in baseball, according to a lot of people. The other New York team, the Mets, actually are considered the team to beat out there in New York, even though the Dodgers still lead all of baseball with the best record. Just had to throw that in there a little bit. Anyway, speaking of the trade deadline, the San Diego Padres swung big at the trade deadline and landed disgruntled Washington Nationals superstar Juan Soto. Soto had lost faith in the organization with the uncertainty of the future of ownership, decided against signing long-term. The Padres would reel in Soto with hopes of boosting their chances of catching the Dodgers in the NL West. Unfortunately, the Padres would receive news that their own superstar, Fernando Tatis Jr., would be suspended for 80 games for PED use. Tatis has been the heart and soul of that young team in San Diego, and now the Padres will be without his bat and influence for the rest of the season and possibly the playoffs if the Padres can get there. That's a big hit on the Padres there.
That it is, and I kind of swing a little both ways with this. I mean, I get it. He's cheating. I get it.
Oh, don't tell me you're going to take Big Papi's side on this, are you?
But come on, how many guys are out there doing this, and how many? It's because of who he is. Come on.
Don't get caught. Don't get caught. There you go.
That's your analogy for
don't get caught.
Don't get caught.
Don't be caught. You won't have that problem. You won't be.
I think they need to take it out. I mean, honestly, come on now. They're not taking like full-on steroids, so enhancements, sure. Not full-on steroids.
Yeah, still. But the point of the matter is that they're trying to get away from it after everything that happened in the summer of '98 between Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa being so steroided up, crushing the home run record books.
It was fun.
Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed it. Come on, but I'm just saying that's the whole point. They're Baseball still tries to hold on to its purest form, which is why it's also now the third most popular sport. And depending on who you ask, either in the South it's NASCAR, or in some parts of the country, the NHL surpassed it in popularity, depending on where you are. If you're in the more northeast region when it's wintry, you'll enjoy hockey a lot more than you will baseball because hockey's not affected by weather, really. And of course, in the South, NASCAR was born and bred here.
Yeah.
So like I said, depending on who you ask and where you ask, baseball is not as popular as it once was. That's unfortunate because the problem is they stick so much to their purest form, try to stick to their purest form and don't really adapt. That's where we give NFL a lot of credit and NBA a lot of credit. They try to make adjustments to make the game more enjoyable for fans, where baseball's just like, well, our game's been this way for 150 years. We ain't doing shit to change.
Yeah, and what they've tried to do to change it, I mean, it's still to its basic form.
Don't get me wrong, they ruined it by giving both leagues a DH.
Yeah, dude, they should have made both leagues actually bat.
No DH.
With no DH.
Take the DH away if you want to go back to your purest form, because that was your purest form, was no DH. So go back to that. Not make the pitcher hit.
Yeah.
I mean, Shohei gets the hit no matter what, anyways.
But look at Shohei. I mean, it's like
no, you don't get a Shohei all the time though either.
Yeah.
So that's the other problem. But I'm just saying though, it's ridiculous though to sit there and say, oh, we want to be in our natural purest form, but you've made changes that obviously go against your own personal grain because you introduced the DH. I think it was in '73. Went so long with both leagues not doing the DH, and then you interleague play starting. I think it was in '97. I think it was '97 is when they started doing interleague games. So if you were the home team in the NL, you didn't have to. The away team, AL team, didn't get the DH. But when you went to the AL side, the AL team got the DH, and therefore you had a DH as the NL team. It's just like, what the hell are we doing?
Yeah, it makes no sense, dude.
Yeah.
And this whole deal with enhancements, come on now. I mean, if everybody's doing it, you can't just single somebody out.
I don't know. I just have a hard time seeing that everybody's doing it, though, because the suspensions now are worse than they were before. Your first pop is 80 games. Your second pop is a full season. And your next pop is you're basically done with Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
So I don't see everybody's doing it because it's a hard hit if you do it. So it's crazy. I did want to update because I didn't have this updated at the time, but Major League Baseball did announce starting next year, when they bring out their schedules, all 30 teams will face the other 29 teams. So that's kind of cool.
Right on.
I've been clamoring that for years. I'm like, how do you have 162 games, but not everybody just face each other? Even basketball, they do a 1-and-1.
Yeah.
And they face all 29 teams. One team gets a home game, and then somewhere down the line, the team that was on the road gets the home game, back. So it's like, so even baseball gives you that because they have 82, and they were doing it with 82. At least they did a home and home. So it's like, so I've never understood. It's like, how is it that fair that you have 162 and you only have 29 teams? You can work a schedule out to make it where you do like 3 games there and 3 games over here.
Yeah.
I
still think there's too many games in baseball.
Oh, I do too. Even if you lower it though,
yeah,
you can still have plenty of games where every team should face each other.
If you lower it to what NBA's doing, I mean, was it 80 games?
It's 82.
82.
They ain't doing that.
Get away with it.
They ain't doing that.
They're not gonna do it because, like we said, they stick to
and it's money.
Their guns about being,
They need to drop it down to back to 154 at least,
something.
because that's at least 100. Just make it 100, even 100. Just even 100.
I guess that's why I have a hard time watching it all the time. Is because there's so many freaking games. That's why when October rolls around, it's like, okay, I'll watch some baseball. What's up? How's it going?
Because those games matter.
Yeah.
162 games. A game that you want to watch in July just doesn't really matter if your team is doing okay.
Yeah.
You like your team to be on the top and doing great, but at the same time, a game in July may not have a real true outcome of what happens in October.
And like, don't get me wrong. If I ever got a chance to go watch a game, I would definitely do it. Cause it's totally different being at the stadium than it is being at home. So
stadium is way better.
I mean, it's just at home. It's kind of like okay, especially when you're having pretty much like, you know, a shutout or whatever, and it's like. Okay, this is kind of boring, you know.
Right. Baseball is the one sport that's actually most enjoyable at the stadium.
Yeah.
All the time. 100%. You can watch it on TV. It's kind of just like, I could be doing anything else right now because it's so long, because it's not timed. There's no urgency really in the game except in October. Yeah. Even though it's not timed in October, it's still, this game is important because you don't want to start falling behind the 8 ball and have to make up this many games in that many games. You know, you don't want to go down 3-0 and have to win 4 straight to move on.
Yeah.
Or even win the title if you're down 3-0 in the World Series, whatever it ends up being. It's just, you can't keep getting yourself behind the 8 ball further down. But a game in July or April, May, whenever time, pick a date, you're not going to really care, except maybe September games, and definitely enough, of course, in October. So.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to basketball. Should we go with these first and save the breaking news for last, or we want to do the breaking news first and get that out of the way?
Let's get the breaking news out of the way, bro.
All right. Earlier today, Adrian Wojnarowski announced that the Donovan Mitchell trade has officially come down, and it was the Cleveland Cavaliers getting Donovan Mitchell from Utah, not the New York Knickerbockers. Yeah.
He's in Cleveland.
Yeah, he's in Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, I'm kind of okay with it because Cleveland was more ready.
Yeah.
After LeBron's last leave than they were the last, because they were not ready for him to leave.
Yeah.
And they freaking just bombed.
Uh-huh.
But at least they've gotten good core of young talent together. They've done some good things. They are going to be a fun team to watch if you're a Cleveland fan, and could potentially eventually be a contender. I don't know if Mitchell gets them there, but he gets them closer.
Yeah.
And they also get them a player that maybe a free agency might consider Cleveland now because they don't want to play with Mitchell.
Yeah.
Possibly. It's still a possibility because Mitchell's a good player.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's players who I'm sure might go to Cleveland play for him. I just think it kind of does like he goes still from small market to small market, but...
Yeah.
But yeah, so Utah Jazz got 3 unprotected picks and 2 pick swap options, and then some players. They got Colin Sexton. The main guy out of that was Colin Sexton in return, who is not surprising. Darius Garland, I think, is the better between him and Sexton, so they did the right thing keeping Garland, teaming him up with Mitchell, and not losing a whole lot other than draft picks. Because like I said, they're almost right there. So,
yeah.
I mean, you're hoping now basically you can maybe hit in free agency next year with a pretty good guy that can help you get you into complete contention instead of having to, you know, hope to God you can pull a trick. Because now you can't, you don't have no trade assets. So, unless you trade Mitchell again. But yeah, Utah's gone completely nuclear rebuild mode, and the Lakers still have Russell Westbrook, which we'll talk about later. Anyways, so the Kevin Durant saga has finally ended. The Durant situation was crazy to begin with, but Durant recently did meet with Nets brass and came to an agreement on moving forward together. Durant had requested a trade, but a trade between the Jazz and Minnesota Timberwolves may have obscured the Nets' thoughts on what they could get for Durant. The Timberwolves gave up 5 draft picks to the Jazz for Rudy Gobert. Then the Nets thought they probably could have got a young, decent talent and some draft picks from small market teams. But then there was no guarantee that Durant would want to play for one of those teams. There's no beneficial word yet that I've gathered, but maybe someone else might have it if they do, that whether or not this agreement to move on together still involves Kyrie. So.
Yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. I don't think we're getting Kyrie, though.
Yeah, I don't think you really want Kyrie, do you? You really want? I mean,
If he shows up, he's still a better player than Westbrook.
Very true. But he's got to show up. But then again, you're in LA, so
Maybe he'll actually want to show up.
yeah.
And then again, I can't even get the other two superstars to stay healthy enough to show up. So
And there's that.
yeah, but so that whole situation was crazy though. What was going on in Brooklyn? I was like, my God, they just hit the nuclear button.
Right.
And all of a sudden now it's like, okay, we're gonna be okay. Though if I'm looking at it, if I'm the 14 or 13, depending on whether or not Kyrie's there, if I'm the other players on this roster going, they just held us hostage all summer long about whether or not they may or may not be here. How are you gonna fix the chemistry back?
Right.
Because to me, that's just kind of like, they don't even really want to be here. Why do we even want them? I mean, I get it. Kevin Durant's considered the top player, second top player, or third top player, depending on your view. Whether you like Giannis more than him, whether you like LeBron more than him, or you like both of them more than him. Depends on, your whole thought process on that. So he's at least guaranteed a top 3 talent in the NBA. I get that. So if you're the Nets, you want him. The brass, the organization. The other players are kind of looking at this going, yeah, he's a great player, but he's a bit of a drama queen. And so is Kyrie. It's like, I don't know if we want to keep these drama queens in the locker room and keep destroying our chemistry as a team.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
there's been a lot of bad blood there. So it's gonna be interesting to see what happens with them, because it's like, what's gonna go on? I mean, are they gonna get it together, or are they gonna continue, screwing up?
Right.
So.
And my other thing with that,
and then you got to think: is Kyrie gonna show up, or is he gonna go back to being activist?
Yeah.
Because
at least now there's even if he doesn't get the shot vaccinated, he can still always show up because Brooklyn has lifted everything.
Yeah.
Well, New York in general has lifted everything, so he can go back to playing normally. But now it's whether or not you're going to get activist Kyrie to show up or not.
Right.
Not just moral Kyrie.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Or principles Kyrie.
I do think it's a good thing to stand out in your community and do the right thing and try.
Or what you believe is the right thing.
And for what you believe in is the right thing. But, on the basketball court or any professional sport, period, do it on your own time. After your contract's done, after you retire, whatever, but keep politics and all that out of sports.
Yep.
To me, it doesn't mix.
True.
So.
Flat earthers, I swear. They're so crazy. And I don't want to hear anybody start going, well, of course they're going to bring them back. They're going to say all the right things. Of course you're going to say the right things. You don't want to make the chemistry worse by saying, oh, God, yeah, well, you just got screwed. And then if you go by telling that to the media, you ain't going to say nothing mean about them in the media. You're going to be like, oh, yeah, we're so happy that you decided to come back. Can't wait to play. Season needs to start now so we can show everybody that we're good to go and ready to take this all the way to a championship.
And then the season starts. And
then they start. Or they get swept in the first round again.
So, we'll see what happens with it.
It's going to be interesting, to say the least.
Definitely is.
All right. And speaking of which, for Irving, former suitor of Kyrie Irving, has now become questionable whether or not they're actually going to get it because of the questionable trade they just recently made. The Lakers. Stupid bullcrap. Anyways, the Lakers traded Talon Horton-Tucker and Stanley Johnson to the Utah Jazz for Pat Beverly. Beverly ended up going to the Jazz and part of the Gobert trade from Minnesota. The trade by the Lakers is questionable because they gave up a young and talented player in Horton-Tucker for a point guard who does not like the incumbent starting point guard, Russell Westbrook. But they keep saying the right things in Twitter and to the media. See, that's why I just rolled my eyes. It's like, good Lord. Though there is belief that Westbrook will eventually be traded. Cooper, can you give me some love here and tell me that he's going to be traded?
Hopefully. Hopefully he'll be
You're in the same boat as me. Just hopefully he will be gone.
Hopefully he'll be gone, but I don't know, dude. It's one of those things that's like, basketball is a little bit different. Sports are a little bit different. You could say, oh, show up and do your job. Show up and do your job. But at the same time, if the chemistry between the players, even if somebody's on the bench, it doesn't matter. There still has to be chemistry. Because if there's problems in the locker room, then you guys are gonna have problems on the court.
Absolutely.
So,
and that's where I'm going to be like, they don't like each other. Absolutely not. If you've gone back to their history, every time they they play each other, it almost breaks out into a fight because they do not like each other.
yeah.
Beverly has that chip on his shoulder because he's a little bit undersized. He's always trying to have that, mentality like he's got to show up and show out against these superstars to make it in the league, which he's done. And I applaud him because actually I would have loved him to be a Laker 5 years ago when he was available at one point because I was just like, he's just, he's active, he's annoying as hell, he'll play defense, and he'll just bug the crap out of whoever you want him to bug the crap out of and get in their head and be all that for you.
Yeah.
And then you sit there because he's gone up against LeBron. He doesn't care. He'll guard anybody. And he's made LeBron look foolish a few times. So he has no qualms about it. But having these two, I just don't see how that's going to work. And that's why I hope there's supposedly still a trade option available in Indiana to move Westbrook. I don't know if that's actually true or not. That's just rumors. But please, for the love of God, just get rid of him. I don't even know why we traded for him last year, because I was just like, no.
He's not the same Russell Westbrook, that's for sure.
He's not. He's not even close. And I was just like, ugh. And of course, I'm still kind of like, about Anthony Davis, because he's only had one healthy year. And we won a championship. But he hasn't been healthy any other year. And it sucks.
Yeah, it does.
Crazy. They do want to finish this episode with one little thing because I liked. It was a thing between Colin and Joy on the Herd. Of course, now Joy Taylor's moving on to Speak, which will be airing. I think they said 3 p.m. Eastern on FS1. Joy Taylor's moving over with Emmanuel Sanders. Not Emmanuel Sanders. Emmanuel Ocho. You get the right guys. Get the right last name in there, because that was terrible. After Marcellus Wiley is moving on to a different position within Fox Sports. But anyways, they were talking about how, and this was mainly for the NBA purposes, because they're talking about how Golden State's going to have a huge luxury tax bill, because they're going to be over the salary cap, the hard cap, and now they've got to go over into the luxury issue. And they were talking about this, and I think this would actually work well in all sports, even though baseball doesn't even really have a salary cap. They have a luxury cap, basically. If you spend this much, then we're going to charge you in luxury after that. But basically, they have no cap. And they just don't want you to spend overly abundantly. But the Dodgers are just like, here's another freaking check, go away. Yankees are like, here's another check, go away. But basically what they said is, they believe if you're going to bring up homegrown talent, like the Warriors have done, you got Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green, your big three there. Mm-hmm. And now you include Jordan Poole and all that, even though their contracts aren't up there yet, but soon they could possibly be. Why not have it where your homegrown talent they started out with doesn't count against your cap. That's not going to be possible. But instead of not counting against your cap, but not counting so highly against your cap, give you a cap break on your homegrown talent's contracts. I think that would help in the aspect of not only because you can get, like in the NBA, for example, since that's what they're talking about, you give your homegrown talent a bigger contract extension. They give you you get the extra year, plus an exuberant amount more money on top of that. But also then, because if you leave, you only get 4. So teams, I think, will be more willing to spend that kind of money on their own talent too, because it's not going to be detrimental to their cap.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so I was just like, I kind of wanted to talk about that a little bit because I just think that would actually be a good idea, even in the NFL, where you're just like, yeah, you're my, so like,
And plus, not only that, but it gives the player incentive to stay too.
more incentive to say, yeah, because you know your team can bring in talent because you're not going to count so much against the cap. And that's why I also think the NFL could adapt something like that too, because look at Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald counts a heck of a lot against the cap. Just using it as an example because I know he counts a lot against the cap for the Rams. And, you know, that might have not have forced us to trade away Goff because we knew Goff was so much against the cap and we overpaid him and it was detrimental to us because we overpaid him. He wasn't as good as we were hoping, and unfortunately, even though I still respect Goff, I give him credit. He turned it around when he got Sean McVay.
Yeah.
Still, a lot of the offense, though, was Todd Gurley, and we gave him too much money, and unfortunately his body just gave up on him, which sucked because he was so talented. But we wouldn't have maybe have traded away Goff if his high contract wasn't so hard against the cap.
Yeah.
You know, we might have kept him. I don't know if I can't say we would have won the Super Bowl, but he did lead us to one Super Bowl at one point, and, you know, you never know.
Yeah, I mean, the longer someone's with a team too, the more chemistry they have. So,
Right.
I mean, to make a guy want to stay, and then you're like, okay, well, I ain't got to worry about your salary as much as I do, you know, these people's. Then you know, I can offer you a little bit more incentive to stay with us and grow and grow the chemistry. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it just...
And you know, me re-signing you is not going to be detrimental to the cap, so I can actually have some money to go get another player if we need to, because it's not going to be so like, oh my gosh, you're 30% of my cap. You're 20% of my cap. That's 50% of my cap gone right there. And now I got to figure out how to, you know, like the Lakers. Because we'd be screwed anyway, because we keep getting everybody. And overly priced everybody. Oh my God. But it's just like LeBron, Anthony Davis. Our cap would be gone anyways, but still, I'm just saying. You know, maybe we would have kept the younger guys. We would have kept Ingram and Hart, and everybody in Ball. You know, Ball. That was a wrong. Oh, frick Kuzma.
I like Kuzma, man. I thought Kuzma was good.
Kuzma was only good at highlight dunks. He couldn't hit an outside shot consistently enough. He did it in the bubble, but that's the only time he did it. That's the only time he would be consistent, is in the bubble. If he could do that in regular games outside of the bubble, he would have been fine, but no, he couldn't do that. But Ingram? Oh, God, we still had Ingram. So I'd kill if we could just go back to that trade and swap Kuzma and Ingram. If we could do that, shit, we'd be golden. We wouldn't even need Anthony Davis anymore. We could just ship his butt. Still want them to ship his butt and LeBron's butt.
Yeah.
Start over.
They do count a lot against the cap, and they're getting older. And
Yeah.
they're not on the court as much. So.
Yeah, I think they're about 60% of our cap right there, just between those two. Russell's about another freaking 25%, so it's about 85% three guys. And then you got to fill it out with a bunch of just hope it works guys.
Yeah.
And it's not going to work. Just reboot. Just nuke button. Give me the nuke button. Let's start over again. That was cool. Let's do that again. See? I don't know. Now you said whatever. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to this NBA season. Sort of.
Yeah, you don't sound like you're looking forward to it. You sound like you're angry and you're gonna have a stroke.
I'm gonna find a second team to root for because the Lakers are just gonna probably piss me off this year. Come on, Orlando Magic. No, that's not gonna work.
Dude.
What? I know we had this discussion. If they would just sell the team to Disney or something, they'd be so much better,
Right.
better off. But you know, I do like the joke that people said the last 3 number 1 picks that the Orlando Magic have had eventually ended up Lakers. So Paulo Banchero, get ready to be a Laker, bro. We love you already. Come on. Just come to LA, bro. Forget Orlando. Might as well just be a Laker, dude. You're destined to be one. Because Shaq, Dwight, Paulo Banchero. 3 for 3, baby. Let's do it.
Yeah, right?
I'll trade Anthony Davis and LeBron James right now for Paulo Banchero. Just Paulo Banchero. Money won't work, so we have to take everybody else too. But anyways.
But it's been fun, man.
It has been fun.
Yeah.
Hasn't it been fun? We've had a great 3 days with you guys.
Yeah, being live. Y'all get to see our ugly faces, but you know, whatever.
I know it's ugly, isn't it? It's good. Oh, God, it got closer, too. Don't get close to me. I'm going to punch you. No, I'm just kidding. So next week we're going to have this a little bit more spaced out. We'll update everybody with the dates. We'll post something, what the actual dates will be. So starting next week, and I believe we're going to probably start it with Wrestling Talk and then just do it on rotation. We're going to rotate our live weekly. It'll cover each episode a week. Sorry, that doesn't sound right. So Wrestling Talk next week will get the live. The following week, Football Talk will get the live. The following week after that, it's Sports Talk will get the live. And that's just going to be the rotation. It's going to cover all three. Each episode will get at least one live a month.
Yeah.
There we go. That sounds right.
Yep.
At least one. So wrestling's basically going to get 2 a month. Football may get 2 a month if we get it a 5th week and it lands properly. So
there you go.
that's how it's going to go from here on out. So we might also do special lives like we did last year. We got, of course, the holidays coming up, so we might do a special live.
Yeah.
To kind of be like, hey, happy holidays. Kind of fun thing. We might do a Halloween one, depending on when Halloween is and whatnot.
That would be cool.
I will probably be Kingpin for Halloween.
I'm going to be the Joker, so...
Sure, I'll be Marvel, you be DC, whatever. That'll work.
It works, man.
Maybe we'll do a photo for it too, so that way we go Marvel, DC.
Let's do it.
All right, and then I just thought something would be really cool though.
So,
if we did the Marvel, DC, and then we got the logos, but then color coordinating them to our favorite teams. You can do the DC black and yellow, and then I can do the Marvel in blue and yellow.
that's cool, dude.
That would be cool.
That'd be awesome.
Sorry guys, I just totally geeked out. I just went total nerd on that one, not that. I just like, and he agreed with me though, so that makes him a nerd too.
Hey, man.
Sucker.
I can't help it. I like superhero movies.
Oh, I love
all
those
sorts of
superhero
stuff,
movies. Oh my goodness, we might have to just start a second podcast just on movies.
Why
Superhero
not?
movies. It can be fun. Cooper Big Man presents Marvel versus DC. He's DC. I'm Marvel.
What you guys think?
Yeah, let us know. We
Let us
might.
know. We might.
We might do it just because it'd be fun. Alright, guys. So that'll do it for us here at Sports Talk. And as always, keep on talking sports. I missed the camera. My bad.
Whichever one it is.
Yeah. Alright. Pause that one. Minimize it. Alright, Facebook. We love you. Good night.
Thank
Farewell.
you for tuning in.
Look at that face.
I seen we got a like earlier, so thank you.
Look at that face. That's a face only a mother could love. Oh, wait. Tay loves it too. Alright, good night, everybody.
Good night, guys.
Ending broadcast on that one. Alright, YouTube. I think we're done with YouTube. Hope you guys had fun.
Lots of love. Love you guys.
Peace out.